Hello, my name is Shirley Self, and I'm here to talk astrology and Kabbalah and the Yates system and the Tarot. So, and all of that is on this diagram here. I've left off the names of the forces here. I assume that you know that this is Malkuth, and this is Yesod, and this is who are you, little darling? Hod, and Netzach, and Tifereth, and Geburah, and this one is Chesed or Gedula. This one's Bina, Chokmah, and Kether. But those, I love those names, but I don't have really room for them. So I wanted to emphasize the astrology on there, because that's what informs me. That I come to I come to metaphysics virtually through astrology. So, and I wanted to talk about the moon phases on the. This is a snake upon the tree. This is a Golden Dawn version of the snake upon the tree, and each of the moon phases, each of the paths is has to do with one of the a couple of the moon phases. You remember that? Let me show you this here. That you put the ascendant is the will, so the descendant is the mask, and they are. So here, 15 and 1 are the mask and the ascendant, or the descendant and the ascendant of 1 and 15. So anyway, I guess the idea is to totally perfect this, because the mask, remember, the descendant, is stuff that you have done well before, and it's available to you because a lifetime in which you did that was like for me. I'm a 14, and so the lifetime in which I am picking the best out of it in order to inspire me and to empower me virtually. The descendant, if you've got to utilize, the whole chart is you. You've got to utilize the descendant, because that completes your power. If you do one end of it or the other, you can't own your own power, and you won't become a success in life. And that, by that I mean in terms of what your own chart says success is. Success varies widely. So moon phase 1 and 15 have this card, the world, or on here I've got it as the universe, but it is perfection. It is perfection. And virtually what 1 and 15 have to do is to get bored with their perfection. Remember, 1 is the physical manifestation of a spiritual perfection, of a whole cycle. That cycle of spiritual perfection, and that means perfection of the whole being, is manifest in moon phase 1. And the work that you have done through the first 15 phases of the cycle, 14 phases of the cycle, are going to manifest in 15 as a perfection of your own creation. You have, in the second quarter, what you do is you learn to use your emotions, your passions, and your imagination to create virtually a new you. You go through an initiation, which is the initiation of Persephone, the Elysian fields, and it kills off the past, it kills off your raging pig, and so moon phase 15 is self-perfected, being a deliberate creation of your very, very own. this getting grasp of the world here. This is let me show you the Hierophant. Actually, I want to show you, look at the cross he's holding. It's a miniature, a little simplified version of the Kabbalah. It's earth and air and water penetrated by fire. Fire unifies. Fire is the unifier. How clever. And so that's where you get a hold of the world. You get a handle on it right here. This is the handle. And so you incarnate at 1 in 15, and the thing you have to do is you have to pass judgment. Judgment, the judgment is actually a desire to participate in the world. And it wants you to use your, waken from your little coffins or your little boxes and participate in the world. And so that's what 1 in 15 have to do, is they have to get bored of being perfect and want to do something in the world. Excuse me, I'm strangling and... I bought this at the carousel in Netherlands, and it says it is a joyous experience. And trust me, the carousel in Netherlands is a joyous experience. And I yearn to go back, and will soon, as soon as crowds thin out. Anyway, back to judgment. The urge to go out and participate in the world. That's what judgment is, and it's wanting you to wake up and do something. And so then 2 and 16. Now that's where the energy is really dumped into you. They're difficult phases, because this energy, the raw energy of the Demogorgon, is dumped into moon phase 2 on the physical level, and into moon phase 16 on the air, or the intellectual level. And it's raw, and it rages around, and you have to be very, very busy in order to contain it. This is really a good picture of it. Look at that little guy. He's fresh. He's not only naked, but he's riding a horse that has no control. And so that's learning how to ride your beast. And in order to learn how to ride your beast, you ride your beast. And that's what 2 and 16 have to do. They have to work very hard. They have to stay busy at whatever's at hand. 2, simply to satisfy their own physical curiosity about the world. And 16, in order to create something that is their ideal life. Both of them very consuming and worthwhile projects. So 2 and 16, then what they have to do is, before they can incarnate to 3 and 17, they have to, here's the hook or the lure. It's Aquarius. The star is, let me show you that. Wait, what happened to the star? There she is. There she is. Oh, I didn't show you the moon. Yeah, I don't like that card either. But the more I know about it, the more I think, okay, I can deal with that. But anyway, it's your pure animal nature, and it's wise to to learn about that dude. That's what 2 and 16 have to do, is to learn what their animal really wants to do, and just stay on it long enough to educate themselves about it. Here's the star. This is moon phase 3 and moon phase 17, and it is it's an Aquarius card. It is a hook. It's like all of a sudden you see what what kind of adventure you want to participate in, what lure, what will lure you into the world, what will lure you into exploring a particular interest. And so that's what the 3 and 17 have to do, is even though it's full of a lot of loss, and I think that one thing about the moon, pure animal nature, I think one thing about the moon you have to do, and 3 and 17, it's a big issue with them, is deal with death. I know it's way up here, but here's where I think they have to deal with it. And it's death is very traumatic for them. So they have to deal with the fact that this is a fact of life, and do your best. Do your best. This is not your home. So anyway, 3 and 13 have to be lured into the world, or 3 and 17 have to be lured into the world. And once they have explored the world a little bit, now here's these red ones are phases you can't skip. They need their decision-making phases, and you need physical input. So you can't double down on 3 and skip 4. And 4, and look at 4, it's the Tower. This one's difficult. It's really even a kind of a scary card. You know, that you're knocked out of your tower by a lightning bolt. And it has to do with, well, one thing it has to do is overthrow the past. You know, you've got those ideals that were fed to you as a child, you know, through 3 here. Those ideals for 4 and 18 can't hold them back. 4's past experiences, for instance, or 18's ideals can't hold them back. They should go out into the world and follow their passion. Make up their mind and follow their passion. The Tower is really put your action where your mouth is. If you want it, you have to work for it. And it's the beginning of an individual life, a unique life. You've broken the ties to the past. You might say you've freed yourself from the maternal matrix, and pursued some. I think number 4 is the wisdom of desire, and the number 18 is the wisdom of the heart. And they are made wise by simply following their desires out into the world. It's not easy. Well, you know, remember the card. This is not an easy. These are not easy phases. But then we come to number 5 and 19. 5 and 19. Oh, he's great. This is the devil. And okay, 5 and 19. They're phases of great power. They're phases where the sun and the moon have come together. The 2 brains have come together and want to do something out in the world. And it gives a tremendous amount of power. Mostly we spend a lot of phases divided, and have to have these internal struggles to who gets to choose, the right brain or the left brain, you know. But the moon phase 5 and 19, where the 2 collaborate, they're very powerful people. The devil. Let me read you something about the devil. Okay. Creation of the illusion of form is necessary. It's absolutely necessary. for you to physically manifest an illusion of form. But in order to return, you have to dissolve those forms. And the dissolving the devil has got a lot of interesting. He's mirth is one of his keywords. The I is another keyword. So laughter is very important in this. And because what 5 and 19 are doing is, in their own way, they're changing the body politic. The moon phase 5 does it for its clan. It's more close to home. Mitch McConnell, he does it for the Republicans. He doesn't do it for the nation. He's not a 19. Oh, and that's interesting, because Nancy Pelosi is a 19. So she's not, I think she might be a little closer to be used, because that's what she's supposed to do. I think they're both doing what they're supposed to do. McConnell's working for his clan, the Republicans, and Pelosi's working for, I should hope, working for the country. And that's, of course, I have a political opinion about that too, but it was interesting that they fit this, so beautifully. They are virtually, let's look at the devil again. And these, the male nature and the female nature are still animal-like. Notice their tails. Their tails are on fire. Notice the chains. The chains are really loose. You know, all they would have to do is just lift them up and take them off. You know, the chains of illusion. Just let them go. And that's what 5 and 19 do, are supposed to do, is to virtually lift off the chains of illusion and allow truth to flow. So, let's see what I got here now. So 6 and 20. Now this is this triangle here is the astral triangle, foundation of the moon, and the tower is the base for this. It's caps this one, the astral one, but it's the base of the moral triangle. The moral triangle, and it's interesting that Temperance, the right combination of events. Isn't she lovely? And she's pouring knowledge from one cup to another. You know, that's what water is. Water's consciousness. Anytime you see it, or see this downward pointing triangle, that's water, that's consciousness. So, the thing about 6 and 20 is these people are trying to expand this. They're trying to prop this up. They're trying to lift the sun as high as it can be. They're, the old boundaries, the traditional boundaries, no longer are appropriate for them. So they have to find new boundaries. They have to, this is a character is here. And they can expand the character by expanding their boundaries, their limitations, human limitations. President Teddy Roosevelt was moon phase 20, and he was boundless. And Willie Nelson is here, and he is totally unbounded also. And both of them have pushed the limits, and very beautifully, I think, both of them. Willie Nelson, the 6, and Teddy Roosevelt, the 20. So they kind of lay down a new law. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So that's Temperance. It's the prop. And then we come, then we come to 7 and 21. Now this is death. one of the key words here is fish. Bliss is ruled by Scorpio. Does this all make sense to you? Makes sense to me. Scorpio, death. There are two deaths. There's the one in which you get to go back home, and then there's the other one in which you lose yourself in another person and find yourself as a spiritual being. And that's called the little death, and it's good sex. And great kids come from it. Oh, my goodness. So this is 7 and 21, and it's a reason, I think, because moon phase 21. Now, I don't know about 7 so much. Yeah, I think this is true for both of them. They're both really horny. Yeah. Yates suggested that moon phase 21 indulged in dangerous sex simply because they were as people, they were just such good people. They're at the end of the air cycle, and they have developed objectivity, and they're right there at the top of the chart, and they're pretty perfect people, but they're also very horny people. Bill Clinton is one, and my husband is one, so I can attest to this. So anyway, 7 and 21. These people they're at the top of the chart. They're at the top. Understand, this is half of what this is. One cycle, one way up, one up the tree, up the Kabbalah, and this is another up the Kabbalah. So each of them, they mirror each other and use each other. Your mask is from the last time you were there. The mask is from, my mask is from the last time I was at 28. So anyway, where was I going with that? 7 and 21. These are this is master of earth, and this is master of air. Was there anything else I was going to tell you about that? I'm sorry. Too much in my head. So anyway, 7 and 21. Here we come to, now the Hanged Man. This is the baptism of water. And the Hanged Man is a reversal of perspective. And that's virtually what has to happen in 8 and 22. Because they're no longer in the air quarter. They're in the spiritual quarter. The first spiritual quarter and water quarter. Okay. 8 and 22. And they're most unusual in that they have no other card. Even 15 and 1, who have no other creative genius body of fate. It's not separate from them. They are their own creative genius. Their own. They own the whole thing. So anyway, 8 and 22. This is a really war. One of the keywords for 8 and 22 is war. And okay, the ox goad. Understand the ox is up there. The ox is the fool that starts out on this whole scheme here. Ox goad. 8 and 22 feel like moon phase 8. They're at the top of the family. The family, like George W. Bush. They're at the top of the family. And all they have to do is get bored with that. What they'll do is they'll get into outside wars because they would just want to stay at the top of the family where they're adored, rather than risk all by exploring their own creativity. Virtually the second quarter or the fourth quarter. Exploring their own creativity. They're both at the top of their... 22 is at the top of the mind. The mind is expanded, Yates said, as far as it can go. It's and it can analyze no further. It is now simply structure. That's one of the meanings of this guy. There's no higher authority. This is you at 8 and 22. I mean, actually, this is death. This is 7 and 21. This is the high ultimate. 8 and 22. Well, that's this guy. Not so much fun. Not so much fun. A balance and a sword. It's actually belonging to justice. Is that's somebody else. Justice is work, and 8 and 22 have got to define some work that is meaningful. Not to the family, but to them. Meaningful. Moon phase 22 is virtually a little skeleton. It's a skeleton ready to be filled, a skeleton of a mind, ready to be filled with spiritual muscle. And pretty much the same is true of Moon phase 8, who has done it the way the world wants him to, the family wants him to, and has achieved the ultimate, and has gotten as far as he can go. And gonna have to find something creative. I mean, that's what else you gonna do? You're gonna have to find a whole new milieu, and explore something that some places you've never been before. And for Moon phase 8, it's the water. Moon phase 8 is the first of the water quarter. So here's what both of them have to do. This is baptism of water. Reversal of perspective. That means they've got to change their mind about what's important and what they want to do. They want to maintain the little ledge you're standing on gets tinier and tinier. Okay, so that's 8 and 22. Now what has to happen before we get to 9 and 23 is the wheel. Let me see if I can find the wheel. There he is. Now, the wheel, now, some go up, some come down. Moon phase 9 is going to go up. It has to decide to go up. It has to decide to direct its passion into something that it really loves to do and go up. Whereas Moon phase 22, in order to become a 23, it has to decide that it wants to help somebody else. And virtually it comes down from the heights, the king, to the slum. That's the perfect trajectory for a 23. They go, because they've got to reintegrate into the world and virtually have to start at the bottom. So that's what both of 8 and 22 have to do. And then a 9 and 23 comes down, and let me show you the Hermit. That's carrying your light out into the world. The hand of God. The hand of God. Both 9 and 23. 9, because it's handing out into the world what is inside it. Its own creativity. Its own passions. And they're wonderful. I remember looking for a moon phase 9. I have a couple of granddaughters who are moon phase 9s. I actually have 3. And they are amazing. They are amazing. They have the physical prowess of a 7 and a because that's their creative genius. Anyway, there's the Hermit. The hand of God. 29, given out to the world. 23, given of its own self, sacrificing of its own self to help the world. 22, we have, now I'm not sure whether, I know Mother Teresa's right here. I don't know whether she's a 22 or a 23, but she was right on the cusp, and her birth time was, I'm not too sure, very well recorded. So, But that is absolutely the coming down into the world and helping at the very lowest level where it's needed. So after 9 and 23, and they've focused their energies and to be of service virtually. Then we have 10 and 24. Now, notice 10 and 24. This one here is every bit as difficult as this one. This one you have to do it. This one you have to control it. Not so easy. Or imagine a little son riding the horse. The son has now got clothes and has stirrups, a saddle, and probably the hat, and definitely the bridle. And this is she. This is the virgin. The thing about the word virgin is very confusing, evidently, to people, because once a woman has been impregnated, she was no longer a virgin. And that's a bunch of bullshit, because the original meaning of the word virgin was she who gives without reducing herself. She gives of herself and does not reduce herself. She is not depleted by her gifts. She can give and give and give. And now, like our great mother, who we've discovered is not, is quite capable of being depleted. Okay, so strength. That's what 10 and 24 have to do. 10, moon phase 10, that's self-control, self-mastery. This is self-mastery. In order to reach that Jupiter, you have to learn to control the Mars. You have to learn to control your animal. Have to learn to control your animal. This is very difficult. Now the 10 does it by controlling. They control the outer world because they've controlled their inner world. They've controlled their emotions. They've got them. Now understand they're the second or third of phase in the water quarter. So they definitely have to deal with the emotions. Moon phase 24. They're dealing with the outer world. They're controlling themselves enough so that they can make something wonderful in the outer world. They're craftsmen. They're perfectionists. And that their craftsmanship, their emotional devotion and control leads them to Jupiter. Jupiter. Mercy. So, okay, we've come to... Okay, now I wanted to read you this. To bring the energies of the lion under perfect control, here's the lion, is to open the seals on the book of reality above the abyss. To open the seals on the book of reality above the abyss. So that control is absolutely necessary. Because understand, this is the abyss. There's no rectangle there. This is the abyss. This is the gap between you and God. And you have to jump it. You have to jump it with emotional control. Emotional and spiritual control. Cool, huh? Okay, so the next thing that has to be conquered is the chariot, and that is your control. That is actually the ability to resist temptation. That's this card. The ability to resist temptation. I don't do too good there. I love chocolate. Sometimes I ask the chocolate, are you good for me? And it always says yes, so I just keep eating it. Okay, so the ability to resist temptation, because that's 11 and 25 are the two other ones in the rectangle of power. They're the partners of 5 and 19. 11 and 25. Let's look at the lovers. Now here's your sword and armor. Here's your choices. You choose the sacred or the profane. Right there. Choices. And that's, understand, these people are revolutionaries. They are, you might say, critics of the powers that be, critics of the society, of the culture. They're definite. They're revolutionaries. They're not just criticizing. They're going to war. This is the arm, shield, the sword and armor. Sword and armor. Didn't have room for it there, but that that's their weapons. The sword and armor. It doesn't show on the card. Not this card, anyway. So, the next one to deal with is the Hierophant. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now, this is hearing, the nail, revelation. Revelation. And that's what 12 and 26 have to deal with. Notice they're important. 12 is an initiation phase, and 26 is just a phase of crisis. 12, the Emperor here, this is the window and sight, and that is one of the amazing talents of 26 and 12, is to be able to see right into your soul, to see what's going on. These people have incredible vision, an incredible view of the world. And it includes you. Now, 12 has a really intimate view into what he can make of himself. He has a view into the ideal that he wants to make himself into. This ideal, the Magus. Number 15. And 26. 26 can see exactly what he's made himself into. That's what makes 26 so very, very difficult, because we've always screwed it away, you know. We haven't used our talents. We've done damage. Like the whole, these people here, these are the body of fate for these people. These people here have to deal with what they did wrong here. These people here are the magicians. These people here are the politicians. It takes the magicians to undo what the politicians have done to us. So here we are. Let me see if there was anything more I wanted to tell you about 26. No. Okay. Okay, we're up here at the Empress. Now, understand this guy here. This is the path of Chiron. I love that guy. This is the path of Chiron. It's right now. Chiron is right now over here. What Chiron does is it goes back and forth. It takes it about 50 years to make the whole thing. Around 50 years. To make the whole cycle. So it's 25 years to make one pass. And anyway, it's right here. And you can see the chaos. What Chiron does is it as it moves away from here, it's undoing the rigidity that was developed during Saturn. And when it moves away from here, it's going to have to try to get some order into the chaos that was created right here. The United States, that chaos happens when Chiron is in Aries. And the United States has a Chiron in Aries. And so, of course, we were invented during a revolution. We had another revolution. The Chiron was in Aries in the 70s. And Chiron is in Aries now. And so, right, this is where Chiron is. It's touching the path of Uranus. And that's why we got chaos. But we see the breakdown of the old order, no? So we got 13 and 27. This is following, say 13 is following the revelation of 12. Following the revelation. And what they were trying to do, they're working through purgatory. They're trying to eliminate all the past, make sure that none of that, the past habits of wanting or attitude or anything. None of that past stuff is, because they're a new person and are inventing, virtually inventing, according to an ideal, a blueprint they saw, blueprint that was pioneered at Moon Phase 12. Moon Phase 12 saw an ideal, and 13 is to bring that ideal forward into the world. Bring that ideal forward into the world. This is the door of understanding. And it's a doorway you can't carry your old garbage through. So Moon Phase 13, in spite of the fact that they are, well, it's ruled by Venus, it can be incredibly sensual and indulgent, have to realize, as Moon Phase 27 is, both 13 and 27 have to deal with their Venus. 13 wants everything nice in the world, and 27 often doesn't want anything in the world at all, because it's, well, it makes them sick. What happens here is these people, let me see, yeah, these people, 26, 27, and 28 are called the sin eaters, and that means that their spiritual energy is so intense that they can cleanse spiritual distress. They can cleanse the distress of other people. They're virtually they're sin eaters. And what happens is like 27 doesn't like the world because it makes her sick, literally sick. So then we come to Moon Phase 14 and 28. Have we seen the Emperor? Did you want to see the Emperor? Of course you wanted to see the Emperor. There he is. He's got the symbol of life on here, and he's got the orb of dominion there, and that's this guy right here. The orb of dominion, your third eye. The Empress right here, and you see how lovely she is and how much she tempts 27 and 26 off the correct path. Because the world is so juicy. This is the High Priestess. Now all this, as her gown, it starts to flow, that's the waters. Notice the moon there. She's ruled by the moon. Now what these have to do is isolate the emotions in the mind from everybody else, because they're unique, and the world needs their unique and untampered with emotions and thoughts. And she rules the waters of your vibration. She is your vibration. And you have to be true to yourself, true to your own vibration. That's what Moon Phase 14 has got to do, is to be true to their own vibration, their own emotional and their own intellectual vibration. And that's why the Donald has so much trouble, because he can't be true to his own vibration. He has never been allowed to be true to his own vibration, so he's never trained. Lost that ability a long time ago. So now we come to the whole goal of the thing, and that's this guy right here, the Magician. This is perfection. This is a perfection that 1 and 15 have before they fall and decide, I need to get a hold of this. I want a new grip on this world. I'm tired of being perfect. Let me grab a hold of it and see what else I can do with the world. Moon Phase, the Magus, actually speaks speaks the word for the next phase, speaks the word that is the fool, the ox, the word. He is a word sent out into the world to experience and to do and to be. Okay, and so begins the fall again. Moon Phase 1 and 15 have to come down and start all over again, isn't it? Well, actually it's been fun a lot. Anyway, that's you. Everybody actually has 2 cards except for these guys. Like me, I'm 14 and 28. My creative genius and body of fate is the sun. My card itself is the high priestess. It's the sun. For a 4 and 18, their body of fate and creative genius is the emperor. So everybody's got 2 cards, including 1 and 15. So I like knowing my card, even though it's hard. It's hard for me to feel like I live up to her potential. But we know we have to struggle. We have to try. As Yates says, very few people live up to their potential. What you have to do if you really, really want to live up to your potential is do a good job between lives cleaning up the mess. And by mess, I mean emotional garbage that you still haven't dealt with. You know, if you carry emotional garbage into the next lifetime, it handicaps you. Definitely handicaps you because you aren't starting fresh. You need a fresh, clean body of fate. Anyway, I hope you're all staying well, wearing your masks, washing your hands, and remember to talk to the people you love. They need you. Bye-bye.